everyone, and happy Father's Day. Another week has gone by and it's been really interesting. In this episode of News Generation, we look at issues of child labor and trafficking. Always issues which draw a lot of attention and need to be tackled. We will tell you the story of two children. Children at an Agbobloshie school have been denied their right to basic education for weeks now. Why? Because of a fire at the Makola No. 2 market. Their school was not destroyed, but they are not allowed in the area. Do you have a bicycle? How often do you ride it? Is it a lifeline for all your activities? For some, it is. We will tell you why. And the world is talking about Nelson Mandela. It's all going to be explained in about 20 minutes. My name is Efo Akwa Harrison. This is News Generation. News Generation, supported by
Cowbell Milk.
Omo is even tough stains in just one step.
Daily Blue Band, Daily Grow.
For school children living in the catchment area of the Wager Dam, opening the spillway can be an anxious and alarming event. The Ghana Water Company has explained that when the Densu River rises to a certain point, spillage is necessary to safeguard the dam.
The place always look flooded, and at times too we used to move from our house and then go and stay at another place for some short times. We've started packing our things to another house. It's very difficult for us to cross because at times we only use the bus during the morning so that we come to school, but during the afternoon the bus always leave us behind. So we try to walk by foot or at times board our own car.
Anytime they open the dam, no one can go, especially the children, the younger ones. They cannot go beside the river. So we just stay at home. And some of us, we can't even come to school. It looks very dangerous.
When they open the dam, we find it very difficult to cross the river. Everywhere will be flooded. Some of us, we don't have money, so we used to take the boat and cross.
The level of water could rise and spillways have to be opened, meaning their lives could be disrupted for weeks. According to the Ghana Water Company, water in the dam should not exceed the safe operational level of 47 feet, which could threaten its safety. They cannot specify the exact day and time for the spillage to be carried out, but they will continue to monitor the water level. The water level during a visit to the dam site by News Generation on Wednesday, June 12, stood at 47.1 feet. The dam's 5 spill gates would be opened depending on the amount of water to be spilled. 7 communities in the Gas South municipality are likely to be affected, and residents have been advised to relocate to higher ground.
ready say ebia omebie nsuo no
ya boa ye ho ano no ya pake enema tie twen se ombebie ya pake enema ebefria.
Now from Wager, we go over to Agbobloshie, where about 300 pupils at the Overcomers Child Academy have stopped going to school. They have been at home for nearly 2 weeks because their school is at the Makola No. 2 market, which caught fire recently. Many structures at the market were razed down by the fire, but the school was not affected.
We want to plead with the President Mama so that he can order them to open the gates for us, the people, to go and learn. This is our last time in school and we have to learn very well so that they can promote us to class 6. I have to learn well. When we are in the house, whilst others are learning outside, why?
Frustration and anxiety are emotions 11-year-old Ruhaima Mansuru has been experiencing. She has not sat in her classroom for nearly 2 weeks.
If I wake up, I'll brush my teeth, I'll bath, dress, and the time I will come to school, they said do not open the gate. So I will be sad, and the headmistress will say, let us eat food and go home.
It is noon, and children in other schools are in class.
I feel very sad when I'm in the house, and I feel like learning because it is the time for me to learn. When we are not studying, it's very important for us to study. When we are not studying, it's very bad. Our education is our future, so we have to learn.
Ruhaima's story highlights the plight of nearly 300 other children who, after the Makola No. 2 caught fire, have not been allowed in the area, despite the fact that the school was not directly affected.
This is how far these peoples can come. They want answers from government as to why they have to stay home when their school was not affected by the fire. Question: how long are these peoples going to stay home?
The proprietress of the school, Rose Awo Penny, says they have done all they can to get the children back into school.
We have a road at the back of the school, which was created by the management not quite 2 months ago. They can even open that gate for them so that they can use that one to the school.
We are the Ghana Education Service to seek answers for the peoples of Overcoming Academy. But the PRO of GES, Mr. Paka Alote, says he will not speak to us until he consults the Accra Metropolitan Assembly.
If the response of the Ghana Education Service is anything to go by, then the peoples will continue to battle whatever it is they have to overcome to get back into school to continue their education, a basic right.
Let's now take a quick look at other stories this week.
The United Nations system in Ghana is appealing for increased efforts by stakeholders to reduce the rate of malnutrition amongst children in rural and deprived communities in the country. The UN therefore calls for food security and nutrition to be put high on the development agenda by stakeholders, including the government. The suspected mastermind behind a recent shooting at Ashanti New Town in Kumasi, which claimed 2 lives, have been arrested in Accra. The suspect, aka Macfuse, 27, was picked up by the Accra Police Command and is hideout at McCarthy Hills following a tip-off. On June 29, all roads will lead to the Accra International Conference Center for the 3rd edition of what has become West Africa's biggest music event. Since its inception some 3 years, the Ghana Meets Niger Showdown has commented its footprints on the musical shores of 2 of Africa's giants, Ghana and Nigeria.
Local news round. Now, imagine being torn away from your home, either sold by your parents or tricked into seeking greener pastures elsewhere, only to end up a slave. This is what hundreds of children in Ghana go through. Today we feature young Indaba, whose name has been changed to protect her identity. Indaba's father rented her out to work as a slave in Nigeria.
I had just finished eating some food my mother had made. My father was not home at that time, but my cousin came to tell me that my father had asked that I should be sent to Nigeria. He gave me to another man who had some other girls from Togo, and they sent us to Nigeria. I wasn't happy.
This is how Indaba remembers the day she was taken to Nigeria. That was 4 years ago. She was sent there, a slave to work, scrape and fight for food in a bar with no pay. When the contract time for her work had ended, she was sent back home empty-handed.
The woman sent us to the lorry station and asked us to take the lead, saying she would come and pay later.
Indaba remembers the name of the town she was working in as Erua. It is a town over 8 hours away, southwest Nigeria. Indaba would have had to travel through Togo to Benin and then finally Nigeria. She's been home now for a few weeks. Still no word from the woman she worked under. I cannot tell you how old Indaba is simply because she doesn't remember, she doesn't know. But there is one thing she will never forget.
I was badly beaten, and one day my madam used a razor blade to cut my legs just because I broke a plate.
But this memory is not what makes Indaba cry. How is life at home?
I'm very comfortable here compared to my life in Nigeria. But the relationship with my parents is not so great.
So what does she want to do now?
I asked them to help me learn a trade, but they refused. They say I should just be at home.
Indaba cannot really express how she feels about her parents, knowing they sent her into slavery. But she doesn't have to. Her face, although we cannot show it, says it all. Indaba's story is only a glimpse into what other boys and girls like her go through. These are child trafficking statistics from the Department of Community Development and Social Welfare in Zabzugu. It shows the number of trafficked children from 15 communities in the Zabzugu-Tatale district from 2009 to 2012. In 2009 alone, 69 children were taken from their homes. 8 were from Indaba's village, Kandin. Head of the Social Protection Team and Assemblyman for Kandin explains why. So tell us about child trafficking in Kandin.
Yes, for the past 3-4 years, it was at a very alarming reach. But there was a time the same people, but not people who are here, they also came around and the education was taken up. So from there up to now, it has been totally reduced to the barest minimum.
Do they go willingly, the children?
Yes, some of them go willingly. Others go just by force and sometimes doing certain, traditional means to carry them along. Really because of poverty, that majority of them go there. Because if they are here, they are not ready to work because they are with their parents. The parents will do all means and they won't give them the respect. But when they go there, there is pressure.
But Indaba didn't leave on her own free will, and her parents have no plans to send her to school or help her learn a trade. Worried about Indaba's future, we asked her to take us home to meet her parents. She agrees. On arrival, we're told Indaba's parents are not home. So her fate is uncertain, with her parents not willing to cooperate. What Social Protection Team leader for Kandin can tell me, though, is that it is likely Indaba will be married off. He says the only thing the Social Protection Team can do now is to continue to educate and advise her parents. That's the story of Indaba, who lives in Kandin in the northern region. 10 million, that's the number of children under 18 working in people's homes worldwide. They do dangerous work and are sometimes treated like slaves. We met 13-year-old Aisha. She was brought to Accra from Mamprusi to be a house help. This is her story.
All children are encouraged to learn a hand at home, but it becomes a problem when they have to engage in difficult works to survive. Aisha Musa is only 13. She came to Accra when her mother died 4 years ago. Aisha dropped out of school at age 10. She has been working to take care of herself since then.
I'm 30 years. Can you be Mustana?
She's used to a 15-hour work day, though it gets tough sometimes. Aisha is among millions of youngsters who are exploited in domestic service. That is confirmed by a new report from the International Labour Organization. They are often abused, while some are kept in slave-like conditions behind closed doors. In Ghana alone, about 40,000 children are involved in domestic service. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection estimates there could be more children working in domestic and are not just lending a hand.
Right now, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, together with other people we would call stakeholders, is working on another law which we call Child Protection Policy. This Child Protection Policy is looking at all the different kinds of dangers that children are exposed to. And so when this Child Protection Policy is done, it will ensure that children who are engaged in child labor, those that are forced into fishing, those that are even forced into prostitution, men sleep with them, all of it will be stopped.
The International Labour Organization says 6.5% of these children are aged between 5 and 14, and more than 71% are girls.
The International Labour Organization observes every June 12th as a day to fight child labour and highlight their plight. This year's theme was Ending Child Labour in Domestic Work. Now let's move over to Felix for What's Up.
Electricity Company of Ghana, the Ghana Water Company, and the Ghana Grid Company are asking government to increase water bills and electricity bills by up to 200%. This means if government grants this request, your parents could be paying more than double the amount they are paying now. What's up with all this tariff increase?
It's like lights off, lights on. It's burning so much houses. And even when you go to pay water bills, they don't even give you water. And so until that thing is done, no one is going to pay money anymore.
So I think it is good they increase it, because if they don't increase it and they give us light out and in, it cause our houses burn, some of our fridges spoil, and our television sometimes go off sometimes.
Yes, I think they must decrease it because sometimes some areas have water shortage, and sometimes the ECG people, sometimes they off the lights unconscious.
Our parents go and pay water bills, but when we open our tap, water does not run out. So we think they must do all these things first before they can increase it.
I don't think that if they increase the electricity and the water bills, we'll get water and electricity all the time.
Your views on WhatsApp. Time for a break. We'll be right back.
Cowbell milk is packed with essential vitamins and minerals for nourishment. Build your body and brains.
He's in between. He's not strict, he's not too strict, but he's also a person who likes to smile and have fun, and he allows us to do things, but then not to go over the top. Like there's a certain limit where we have to stop and go back. What I like about him is he makes everything fun. He makes serious situations a laughable situation. So he makes us smile.
My father is a kind father. He loves us and always care of us. If you need something, he will explain or pay it for us.
A good father would be a person who is a good role model to their children. A person who takes their children's needs into consideration.
Sometimes if I'm sad, he makes me happy. But the things I don't like about him is that if he's annoyed, everything he sees, he will take and show it.
Like my father because he do make plenty things about pay my school fees, water bill, and everything.
Fathers really inspire people. As I said, they really sometimes kind and sometimes strict, and they just tell you that you should follow your dreams and that they inspire you. Happy Father's Day.
Some of you on how you feel about your fathers this Father's Day. What does your father mean to you? Write on our Facebook page and let us know. Now, how do you get to school every day? Almost 4 out of 5 children in Tamale in the northern region ride a bicycle. For most of them, a ride to school means a ride into a promising future. But for those who don't have a bike, they walk for more than 2 hours to get to school.
Your friends who don't have bike, how really do they cope? How?
Sometimes I look at them, I have pity on them, and sometimes they also beg with those who have the bicycle, please can you help me so that if I get here I'll also walk or something. Or sometimes they can stand at the roadside begging for lift from people or stuff, and those kind of things is not pure. It's not good to see in the eye. It doesn't favor at all.
Mba Orlando Adam stays at Bywater in Tamale. His bicycle is 19 years old, a year older than him. It has been in the family all this time.
I inherited this bicycle. My senior brother used it. He has gone to the SS. Now I'm the junior one, so I inherited it from him. So I have to also use it so I can also transport myself to school. It can be close to like 19 years now.
He intends to hand it over to his younger brother after completing school.
I also have a junior siblings, so I can also give the bicycle to them. They can also use it to go to school easy.
Although he loves riding his bike, he sometimes feels unsafe on the streets of Tamale. For many children, riding a bike has become a way of life rather than just a means of transport.
My bike is very fast and it's nice. Everyone admires my bike every day. Whenever I come to school, they say, how costly is my bike? I will tell them that it's more than 1 million, and they are saying that they may also get.
Those who don't have a bike feel left out and at a disadvantage. If you don't get a lift, how do you get home?
I have to walk.
And how long does it take you in getting home?
It will take me 1.5 hours.
But what about those in surrounding villages?
I'm at Pasunando in the Yendi district of the northern region, and residents from here to Tamale tell me it is a punishment not to buy a bicycle for your child.
Most children say their parents prefer buying bicycles for them because it turns out to be cheaper.
Do you walk, ride a bike, or take a car to school? Well, post your comments on our Facebook wall. Unilever Ghana Limited has launched a tournament to encourage young people to explore the environment. The Omo Fantastic 5 Challenge will afford children the opportunity to learn through the game of football.
The winner of the competition will benefit from an all-expenses-paid trip to the World Cup in Brazil next year. Children in upper primary in about 64 schools will compete for the ultimate prize. Some young people at the launch were happy about the opportunity.
What we just did, it goes to all mothers that they should allow their kids to play, but they shouldn't worry about washing or anything because Omo is there for them.
Deputy Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Florence Apu, challenged Unilever Ghana to expand the competition across the country. Deputy Minister for Sports, Joseph Yamin, encouraged the young competitors to be conscious of fair play.
What other stories are making the rounds in sports? Let's find out.
Richmond Boachiado makes Ghana's final squad for the 2013 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Turkey. The US-based striker has opted for the number 20 shirt after Black Satellite's coach Celastete named him in his 21-man squad this week. Celastete, who led Ghana to win the Under-20 World Cup in 2009, has 5 foreign-based players in his squad with a number of locally based players. Manuel Pellegrini has been confirmed as the new manager of Manchester City after signing a 3-year contract. The 59-year-old Chilean arrives from Malaga and fills a role vacated by Roberto Mancini, who was sacked in May. Usain Bolt made a massive comeback from a shocking defeat in Rome to ease to victory in the 200-meter at the Oslo Diamond League. The Lightning Bolt became the fastest person to run the distance this year. Last week, the 6-time Olympic gold medalist lost the 100-meter race to Justin Gatlin by just 1/100th of a second.
Time for another break. We'll be right back.
Give kids the taste they love and the nutrition they need. Daily Blue Band, Daily Grow. Sometimes a stained t-shirt can make you the happiest man. Now Omo Multi-Active removes even tough stains in just one step. Best ever stain removal from Omo.
President John Mahama met with British Prime Minister David Cameron Friday. President Mahama was invited by Cameron to participate in the G8 summit meeting that was held in London. The president returns to Ghana Monday. Kenya's MPs have agreed to drop their annual salary from $120,000 to $75,000. This follows protests from Kenyans in the capital Nairobi who called the MPs M-Pigs. The MPs are expected to receive a car allowance of around $58,000 for agreeing to the salary cut. The world's oldest living person has died at the grand old age of 116. Jiromon Kumora died of natural causes on Wednesday in a hospital in Kyoto, Japan. He is reported to have had 7 children, 14 grandchildren, 25 great-grandchildren, and 13 great-great-grandchildren. You will be able to use hashtags on Facebook soon. The social network says it is doing so to help its members keep track of popular topics being discussed on the page. Adding the hashtag sign to a word will turn it into a clickable link which brings up a feed of what other people are saying about the same topic. Welcome back to News Generation. Time now to see what the world is talking about. Respected, celebrated, loved and hated. One man evoking so much emotion globally. That is rare. Arguably, no icon is held in high esteem worldwide as he is. But why does the world pay so much attention to Nelson Mandela? The world is talking about him.
I know him to be the former president of South Africa.
He's handsome, gentle, and kind.
He's Nelson Mandela.
He's famous and I heard that he's sick.
Lawyer, politician, statesman, Transkei in the Eastern Cape welcomed South Africa's most prized national figure and anti-apartheid icon Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela some 94 years ago. Affectionately known by his clan name Madiba, he became actively involved in the anti-apartheid movement in his 20s.
He stopped the system of segregating in South Africa, which allowed people to live as a community as well.
He fought for the country, and it's a really big thing to other people and me, because he was really a tough man.
For 20 years, he directed a campaign of non-violent defiance against the South African government and its racist policies. When all that failed, he championed the bombing of government installations done during the time of day when no civilian was injured. These events brought global attention to the South African situation. He was repeatedly arrested and prosecuted for rebellion but was found not guilty. In 1962, he was arrested again, found guilty of conspiracy to overthrow the government and sentenced to life imprisonment, serving 27 years in prison.
Freedom is coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom.
An international campaign lobbied for his release, which was granted in 1990. In 1994, he was inaugurated as South Africa's first black president.
Never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another.
As president, he formed the government of national unity. He refused to run for a second term as president, a rare decision from an African leader focusing on charitable work in combating poverty and HIV/AIDS through his foundation. At 94, it is almost normal to have health challenges, but for some reason, many people panic anytime he is reported ill. Since the beginning of 2013, he has been hospitalized 3 times. Each time, it seems the world pauses to give their attention till he is well again.
He will continue to live because he's a very kind man.
I pray God give him back his strength.
Admirers credit him for preventing a civil war when he called on black and white people to reconcile at a time when South Africa seemed on the verge of disorder like so many fellow African countries.
Well, by Rainbow Nation, I think he means like South Africa is multicultural because there's Indian people and some Asians.
Critics thought of Mandela as a terrorist and communist sympathizer.
Because there is some racism in South Africa and out of, not just in South Africa, but they're still trying to get rid of that, but just because he's black, you know. Some of my friends are white, so there are people uniting.
In 2009, Mandela's birthday, July 18, was declared Mandela Day to promote global peace and celebrate his legacy. Over 250 awards, including in 1993 Nobel Peace Prize, the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom, perhaps best tell the love story of Nelson Mandela and the world.
So that's all we have time for in News Generation this week. See you next week. We leave you with this inspirational quote. News Generation, supported by
Cowbell Milk.
Omo, saving tough stains in just one step.
Daily Blue Band, Daily Grow.